From a coach undressing himself mid-game to teammates exchanging blows. This is football cards, but every card gets crazier. And first, this dude scored one of the easiest goals ever, but then celebrated like it was the goal of the century. Unfortunately, the referee was having none of that and gave him a straight red card. But this next ref was in the mood for some fun. While these two players were contesting a ball, the referee got in on the action by tackling both guys to the ground. But bizarrely, this happened. Fair play to the ref for having a little fun, because I can't help but imagine if this happened in the Premier League, but not all players are fun to be around, just like this next dude. With West Brom losing 3-1 to West Ham, Mulumbu got very angry when the referee didn't blow for a foul on him. So instead of complaining, he chose to take matters into his own hands. Feet.
Displeasure there from Yusuf Mulumbu. And it's a red card. Mulumbu kicking the ball there at Gary O'Neill.
I know, I shouldn't be laughing at a red card, but this is funny. Most referees dish out red cards when players misbehave, but others take a more honorable approach. When the referee was running towards the player, he thought he was about to be sent off for an early bath. But in a shocking turn of events, the referee brought out his cards and asked the player to choose one. Who knew eeny, meeny, miny, mo could be this effective? Now that's a way to resolve a dispute. Unlike this next player who took motivation a little too far. After seeing his team concede a late equalizer against West Ham, Stoke City forward Ricardo Fuller walked straight to his captain Andy Griffin and slapped him.
And just gives him a slap. I mean, it's just...
I wonder what he said to get him this upset. But the referee gave him a chill pill by sending him off to the locker room. Sometimes all it takes is a gesture to create chaos. In 2023, AS Roma came up against Monza in a Serie A match. The stakes were high, the tackles were aggressive, and the coaches kept shouting at the ref every chance they got. But just as the game was about to end in a boring 0-0 draw, El Shaarawy scored this screamer.
Zalewski. So many bodies in the middle. Christensen, one of them. Azmoun! And now El Shaarawy!
But instead of Jose Mourinho celebrating with his players, he turned to the Monza bench and did the crybaby gesture. When asked why he did that, Mourinho said the Monza bench insulted them during their last match, and they tried to influence the referee in this game. But even Mourinho's pettiness was only part of the first 6 videos on this list, because still to come in our top 3 is a football match that had a record 20 cards given out. But before we get there, let's look at a player who turned his opponent into a shooting target. Junin is considered by many to be the greatest free kick taker of all time. Quick search of his free kicks on YouTube will clear up any doubts.
He's just unstoppable. Second goal for Lyon.
But on this day, Junin took target practice a little too seriously. With the opposition keeper deliberately wasting time, Junin decided to put an end to his antics by doing this. I understand the frustration, but that's a red card every day of the week. Nonetheless, you have to applaud that goalkeeper for excellent acting. He got hit on the arm but was grabbing his face. Speaking of cheating, Mourinho and his player got sent off for one of the biggest robberies in football history. In a match between Real Betis and AS Roma, Betis scored one of the clearest handballs you'll ever see.
I took that one correctly, Borja, but that's not a bad effort.
But instead of canceling the goal, the referee pointed to the center to confirm it. The Roma captain complained to the ref and got a red card for his efforts. Seeing this, Mourinho ran onto the pitch to confront the referee, and he got a red card too. Wow, this ref thought it was a volleyball match. Speaking of handballs, this next player turned into Manuel Neuer just to stop a goal. With the Bournemouth goalkeeper off his line, the Norwich striker thought he was about to score, but Lewis Cook pulled off an incredible fingertip save to deny him.
Campbell plays the ball forward. Cookie might get there for the goalkeeper. No, Ramsdale does well to smother it. The loose ball's fallen for Dina. Oh, he's in the post. But was that handball by Bournemouth player?
Wow, just when you thought you'd seen it all. To be fair, that was an amazing save. He should just consider being a goalkeeper at this point. Just like when Luis Suarez accepted his true calling. In the 120th minute, Ghana got a chance to become the first African team to reach the semifinals of the World Cup. But just as the ball was about to go in, Luis Suarez did this. Ah, man, he turned into a goalkeeper to deny Ghana a piece of history. And then celebrated when they missed the penalty. No wonder he became one of the most hated footballers of all time. When asked about that handball, he had this to say.
Porque íbamos a perder, si no hacían el gol no íbamos a perder. El jugador de Ghana, yo siempre dije, se querra el penal, no es mi culpa.
He really is a supervillain. Even Loki from the Marvel Cinematic Universe couldn't shapeshift like this next guy, though.
You are all of you beneath my hand.
You know Arsene Wenger, the guy Arsenal Football Club was named after. Yeah, that guy. Well, in his 1000th game as manager, he went up against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The match started very badly for his boys as they conceded inside the first 5 minutes.
Ato's onside here. Samuel Ato!
Not long after, they conceded the second goal, but just as Hazard was about to add a third, this happened.
And here's Fernando Torres. And he's teed up Hazard! Oh, it was almost...
I thought Suarez was crazy, but my word, Oxlade-Chamberlain might have outdone him there. But what happened next will have you rolling on the floor, because the ref brought out a red card, but instead of giving it to Chamberlain, he gave it to Gibbs. When Chamberlain tried to tell him he was the culprit, the referee told him, "Shut up, Walcott." That referee needs some glasses. But looking at their pictures together, you could understand why he was confused. But not every player tries to cheat. For some, being cheeky gets them in trouble. The ref was looking for the player who took his burger in the locker room. And then Cesc Fabregas interrupted this serious meeting by kicking the ball straight to the head of a West Brom player. The ref and players completely forgot about their argument and headed for Fabregas like a pack of wild dogs. Damn, it wasn't that deep, guys. Unlike this player who wanted to injure the referee so bad. Officiating in any league in South America can be an extreme sport, but getting a female referee to officiate there is dangerous business. Angry that the referee gave him a red card, this player rushed her like a UFC fighter trying to finish off an opponent. But thankfully she stood her ground. To think he would have knocked her out if he had the chance. This guy shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a football pitch, but even that embarrassing behavior didn't crack our top 10. From here on out, the cards get even crazier. Starting with a mistake so shameful, the referee had to resign. Croatian footballer Simunik couldn't believe his luck in the World Cup match against Australia. The referee gave him a yellow card for slapping an opponent in the face, then another yellow card for fouling an opponent. He got a third yellow for talking back at the ref before being sent off. Wait a minute, I thought 2 yellows equals 1 red in football. How did the refs miss that?
Damn!
He obviously wasn't good at math. Now imagine if the players had yellow card indicators like they do on FIFA. That would be epic. But the referee's mistake was so embarrassing, he had to resign. Look, everyone messes up. It makes it kind of a sad story. But for this next ref, his actions make him one of the most hated refs in history. With over 90,000 fans jumping and screaming in the Camp Nou, Arsenal were on a mission to pull off a major upset against Barcelona. The game was tied at 1. Van Persie was flagged offside after receiving a pass from a teammate. 1 second after the ref blew his whistle, he shot the ball towards the Barcelona goal.
Fabregas.
The referee saw this, gave him a second yellow card, and sent him off the pitch. What just happened? He couldn't believe it. Like, how is this offense worth a red card? Well, despite telling the ref that the noise made him not hear the whistle, the ref stood by his decision and asked him to leave. With the extra man advantage, Barcelona scored 2 more goals and made this one of the most controversial bookings in the history of the Champions League. Angry about what happened, Van Persie had this to say.
In my opinion, it was a total joke, the sending off, because how can I hear his whistle with 95,000 people jumping up?
1 second between the referee whistling and you striking the ball.
But this way, 1 second from his whistle till my shot is just a joke.
Some referees will get on your nerves, and you begin to wish bad upon them, which is why I wasn't surprised when I saw this. I know I'm not supposed to laugh at this, but the referee fell like the president of... Well, never mind. But not all encounters with referees end in violence. Some players are more than willing to help them out. Just like this next guy. This referee was trying to book a player after getting advice from the VAR, but he mistakenly dropped the yellow card on the ground. Seeing this clumsiness, the opposition player decided to help the ref do his job. I can imagine the kind of power that player must have felt dishing out a yellow to his opponent. But it doesn't always end up well when refs and players switch roles. Keeping up with the speed of Kylian Mbappe is a handful for any defender, let alone a referee. So while this ref was trying to catch up to PSG's attack, he collided with Diego Carlos, which sent him tumbling. His reaction after he got up shocked everybody. Damn, who knew refs could beef like players? To make matters worse, he stood up, gave Carlos a red card, and went about his business like nothing happened. But an investigation afterwards showed that Carlos pushed the ref by mistake, and he had no right to kick at him or send him off. Karma struck almost immediately as the referee was banned for 6 months. But I feel bad for anyone trying to piss off Eric Cantona. Let's go back to 1995. After being sent off in a match against Crystal Palace, Eric Cantona was quietly heading toward the changing rooms. Then, a Crystal Palace fan decided it was the perfect time to run his mouth. Cantona's reaction to this was something straight out of a martial arts movie. You only see moves like that in the UFC. But when he was asked about it, he had this to say.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
I can't lie, this man's a legend. But I don't know what's crazier, getting kicked by Cantona or being headbutted by another legend. Zidane came to the 2006 World Cup with one thing on his mind: do everything possible to win. And at 34, he knew this was his last chance to cement his status as the greatest midfielder of all time. So he played every game like his life depended on it. But just as he was about to overcome his last challenge, the devil came in the form of Marco Materazzi. The Italian defender kept getting on his nerves by talking badly about his family. So when Zidane had enough, he did this. Looking at him going past the World Cup trophy after being sent off was really heartbreaking. He wasn't supposed to be there. He came out of retirement just to captain his country one more time. He looked destined to win the World Cup, but still gave it all up in defense of his family.
Une fois vous essayez de partir, c'est ce que je fais. C'est les mots, comme je vous dis, qui me touchent au plus profond.
Vous pouvez les redire ou ce qui a été hier?
Avec la maman, la sœur, c'est des mots très durs, quoi. Donc vous l'écoutez une fois, vous essayez de partir, c'est ce que je
Now
fais.
that's what you call a legend. And now that we're going into our top 3, things are about to get crazier. I'm talking stripper crazy. Although Juventus were winning 1-0 against Atalanta, Massimiliano Allegri was furious that a ref gave him a red card. But instead of going to the stands, he started taking off all his clothes, screaming and kicking anything he could see. And that's what we call having a temper. Speaking of being angry, this next referee definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed. When Portugal came up against the Netherlands in the 2006 World Cup, everyone expected nice goals, insane skills, and a beautiful spectacle. But what they got instead was a WWE Royal Rumble match. The players kept fouling each other. The coaches were having a go at themselves, and the whole match was just chaos. But one person remained consistent in all this: the ref. He kept dishing out card after card and didn't let anything slide. At the end of the match, he'd given out 16 yellow cards and 4 reds. The only regret I have is that Pepe didn't play in this match. Imagine what he would have done. But now's the moment we've all been waiting for. The craziest card ever given. In a match between 2 Premier League teams, Newcastle United were being embarrassed by Aston Villa. But instead of taking the fight to them, Lee Boyer and Kieran Dyer began to exchange blows in the middle of the game.
Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer suddenly were at each other's throats.
It's all going horribly wrong for Newcastle United.
I've seen a lot of crazy things, but this is right up there. Do you know how bad it is for the opposition to be the peacemakers? To put an end to this madness, the referee sent both players off the pitch. When asked about what happened that day, Dyer said this:
Cannot believe he is throwing punches in front of 52,000 people. What the are you doing, Bo?
That's Lee Boyer and Kieran Dyer.
He's like, f***ing hell, you never passed me the ball, f***ing da-da-da pin. So I'm like, f*** off. And he's like, what? And I went, the reason why I don't pass you the ball is because you're f***ing shit. And as soon as I said that, the eyes just like, it was like something just switched.
And then that's fighting broke out between 2 Newcastle players. They're fighting amongst themselves.
And I didn't think you could get sent off for fighting your teammates because it's unprecedented.
It's a red card for Dyer. Well, there's going to be a red card for Boyer as well. Yes, that is. Absolutely. Astonishing scenes here, Jim. Unbelievable incident.
Yeah, he had a short fuse.
Frustration.
I guess you aren't allowed to call your teammate useless. But one thing you can do is watch referees blocking certain goals. I'm talking ghost goals, a disallowed goal that almost got a ref killed. Anyway, just take a look.